Good morning everyone, my name is Rosalie Cabreno from ACT12. I present to you the motherboard's parts and functions. Let's start. The CMOS battery powers your laptop via S firmware, which is responsible for booting of your computer and fingering data flow. You can tell if your CMOS battery has died if your laptop has difficult booting up, if drivers disappear, and if your laptop's date and time are incorrect. Heatsink is device to absorb the heat coming from your CPU, then disperse the heat away from its component. The dissipation of heat is possible because of the sink has fins which gives more surface area during a heat transfer. A heat sinks need to make strong contact, which is the source of the heat, in order to maximize cooling. 24-pin power connector. The ATX 24-pin connector is the main power connector that connects the PSU to the motherboard. It supplies power to the CPU, memory, chipset, and other onboard devices. It has 24 pins arranged in the two rows of 12. RAM memory slot. A memory slot is responsible for temporarily storing data in a computer RAM, random access memory, a type of bottle-like memory that allows the system to access data quickly. The computer uses the RAM to store data currently used by the system and applications. CPU processor socket, also known as a CPU slot. The CPU socket is used to connect a microprocessor with a printer circuit board, PCB in short, without soldering, allowing for the CPU to be installed or replaced more easily on the motherboard. PS2 port. The PS2 port is the 6-pin mini-DIN connector used to connecting keyboard and mic to a PC-compatible computer system. DVI port. DVI, it means Digital Visual Interface. It is a digital video interface developed by the Digital Display Working Group, DDWG in short. Is it able to support both digital and analog video signal over a single DVI cable and is commonly found of computers, LCD monitors, projectors, and other digital display equipment. HDMI port. The HDMI interface allows a port to send high-resolution digital video, theory quality sound, and device command through an HDMI connector and down a single HDMI cord, each designed to support a video resolution and features in the HDMI specification. USB port. It allows data to be moved between devices. Still, USB ports can be used to supply electric power using a cable to device that don't have their own source of power. To connect a device to the computer, just locate the port at the back of your machine and then connect the USB connector into it. Audio port. Audio ports are used to connect speaker or other output devices with the computer. The audio signal can be either analog or digital and depending on the port and its corresponding connector differ. AGP slot. An accelerated graphic port, AGP in short, is a point-to-point channel that it used for high-speed video output. This port is used to connect graphic cards to a computer's motherboard. It increases the speed at which machine can render graphics while using the system resources more efficiently. IDE connector. An IDE interface is industry standard adapter for connecting IDE devices and enable them to communicate with each other. At one time, most computers included at least one IDE interface built into the motherboard. The interface provides a 40-pin connector for attaching IDE hard disk drive HDD in short to the computer. SATA ports. SATA ports, Serial Advanced Technology Attachment, also known as Serial ATA or SATA. enable mass storage devices such as hard drive and optical drives to communicate with the motherboard using a high-speed serial cable over two pairs of conductors. 4-pin power connector. A 4-pin CPU power connector is the standard connector for the most CPUs. It has two yellow wires and two black wires, and its plug is into a 4-pin socket on the motherboard. A 4-pin connector can deliver up to 192 watts of power, which is enough for most CPUs. BGA port. It is used as connector in electronic devices like laptops, televisions, monitors, video cards, and other electronic devices. It is used to connect and send signal between computers and monitors, between computers and televisions, and between computers and laptops. Modem port. A port is a channel through which its devices communicates with the operating system. From a hardware perspective, a port is the receptacle into which a terminal or modem cable might be physically connected. BIOS chip. BIOS means Basic Input or Output System. Is the program a computer microprocessor used to start the computer system after it power on. It also manages data flow between the computer's operating system or OS and the attached device such as the hard disk, video adapter, keyboard, mouse, and the printer. Floppy port. They connect the floppy disk drives, FDDs in short. It is the 34-pin ribbon connector that carries data between the motherboard and any floppy drives installed in the PC. The motherboard is mounted inside the case and is securely attached via small screw through the drill's holes. Motherboard contains ports to connect all the internal components. It provides a single socket for CPU, whereas for memory normally one or more slots are available. Motherboards provide ports to attach the floppy drive, hard drive, and optical drives via ribbon cables. Motherboard carrier has special ports designed for power supply. There is parallel card slot in front of the motherboard, using which video cards, sound cards, and other expansions cards can be connected to the motherboard. On the left side, motherboards carry a number of ports to connect the monitor, printer, mouse, keyboard, speaker, and the network cables. Motherboard also provide USB ports which allow compatible devices to be connected in the plug-in or plug-out fashions. For example, pen drive, digital cameras, etc. They have motherboard components. First is Central Processing Unit or CPU, CPU socket, chipset, input or output, computer memory, expansion card, BIOS, peripheral component interconnect, ATX, South Bridge, North Bridge, parallel port, random access memory, slot machine, capacitor, electrical connector, floppy disk or controller, computer keyboard, parallel, ATA, sound card, clock rate, SATA connector, SATA ports. They have 12 components of motherboard. First is mouse and keyboard connector, universal serial bus USB, CPU, RAM memory, basic input or output BIOS system, chipset, cooling fans, adapter cords and expansion slot, CMOS battery, storage devices, front panel connectors, power connector. For most people, home we represent by four walls and the roof. Not for Noah, she preferred a motherboard to the mother, a keyboard to the house key. Nothing was more comforting than the bomb of spinning hard drive. That's all. My name is Rosalie Carpiano, ACT12. I hope you like this video. Thank you and God bless.